They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with.
Must reign.
Hello, my fellow crash outs, reporting for duty. Thank you for watching another episode of Who the F Did I Work For? Apparently he loves the skinnies in. That's good. So, you all might have heard that Mojo Jojo posted an audio of me having a manic episode. I'm bipolar. I've always been a mental health advocate, so I don't hide the fact that I'm bipolar because I'm usually regulated and happy. But what I realized in 2025 is, being an empath, you cannot be nowhere near and you should not be speaking to narcissists, period. So Mojo Jojo called me and offered me what I was owed, and two, a little bit more on the top, to help out some of the people that he's wronged. Because the thing about an abuser is they usually abuse more than one person. So the whole Me Too movement that people can't quite wrap their head around is Me Too. He's done that. She's done that to me too. And it's good to feel like you're not alone when you're fighting a super evil villain. So Mojo Jojo thought that he could trick me by calling me over and over and over again and offering me different solutions to cover up his little past and his little problems. And he would record me and show everybody that I was the evil villain. I was the extortionist, the money hungry, whatever. But I was recording him too because I stopped trusting him a long time ago.
Keita, I ain't ate since.
Me neither. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I'm so thin and pretty. I'm gorgeous.
Can I just
Talk to me in that way. I'm back.
Hey, yo, Keita.
But I'm not wavering. I'm not wavering.
No, Keita, you gotta give me 3 seconds.
Okay.
Keita, you gotta give me 3 seconds.
No, yeah, you talk. I'm not doing it!
Hey, Ace. Okay. So it is a partnership. She has no reason not to Yes.
Hey, Mary, 5 minutes, because you work for me. Because you work for me! 5 minutes with this one.
As y'all can see, she was very angry. And yes, she did scream at me. But if you make as much money as I do, when my good best friend pays me, you can scream at me too.
No, nobody should be able to scream at you. I was having a manic episode.
And this was after like days of negotiation with what some people would call a mass manipulator.
He is.
But clearly he can't be that smart.
Nope.
Because how can you extort somebody who you came to first?
You came to me first.
Really?
You came and offered me first.
And trying to send someone to jail.
To jail.
And then not,
extortion.
Not expecting... What, a recording? Several,
Several recordings.
That's
days.
That is wild.
It's okay. It's going on the docuseries.
As long as we've known each other, I thought we was friends. Unblock me, Ace.
Unblock her, Ace. Mojo. As you can see, we've been friends for a long time. 10 years, 12 years, 13, I don't even know. And nobody knows that she bites. She's actually struck me. So we're not gonna, she's toxic as well, but we're just gonna keep going. So I initially started this whole thing to talk about in detail my financial abuse because I thought it would be somewhat therapeutic. So in the beginning of the shows, I used to make my own merch because I felt very, very creative and I loved that little cricket thing. Mojo Jojo said the merch was ugly. It should be mass produced. I need an actual designer, so I needed to hire his designer buddy. He knows what he's talking about because he's made millions on his shirts and books. So I'm like, well, you know what you're doing and I don't, so okay. Around Black Friday, he showed me like $340,000 worth of sales, and that was just the card game. So he seemed to know what he was doing. He was a black man willing to help a single mom out. Ha! So I started to look for new designers, and that's when I realized design is expensive. Do not go cheap on design. Designers, videographers, editors, these people, they make what they make because it's worth it. The shows were growing rapidly, so Mojo Jojo was like, listen, I'm going to set up your website. I'm going to do all this. We're going to sell your merch. I need you to buy a lot of merch this time because we're going to 100 cities. It's going to be thousands of people in each city. You're going to need a lot of merch. So I stopped making my own merch and started buying thousands in quantity because he said we would need it. He said even if we didn't sell it on tour, it didn't matter because he had 1 million people on his email list. So all he had to do was send out a bulletin, and in a click of a button, button, I'd give 40 to 50,000 probably that day. None of that stuff happened. And it took months and months and maybe even a year and a half to figure out that he was absolutely not going to do any of that stuff. But I'll detail that a little later. I'm about to wrap this up. A lot of you guys are saying, why don't you have your own podcast? I do have my own podcast. It's called Unmedicated and Educated with Keita Rose. I'm Keita Rose. This is the pod he said he was going to put $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in, but that wasn't true either. Which is okay, because you know I did it on my own. If you're interested in seeing some of these wacky episodes.
Question, do black men need therapy?
From a therapist?
Hi, and welcome to episode 1 of Who the F Did I Work For? So, because I'm unemployed, this is my content now. So, this is the creator of the pod. This is Randy Rosario, Mike the Poet, Trip Fontaine, fine ass Keita Rose, and Mojo Dojo! A lot of you guys are like, well, I don't care about this bitch or that bitch. Where's my favorite? Oh, shit, there she go to your favorite. She be dropping them gems. This is Kitty Rose. She got Randy out quick fast. She said, I want your spot. How can I manipulate everyone to get it? I'm going to detail that, though, in the following episodes. It's going to be like 500 episodes. Uh-oh, bonus feature. This guy says he used to be with Kitty, but that can't be true because it would have been around the time she was married, and she can't stand side bitches, and she can't stand cheating women. Ho, the drama, the tea. Hope we all heal. And pop goes the bad bitch. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on where you are from. Thank you for watching episode 4, season 1 of Who the F Did I Work For? A lot of you don't like that there be smoke in my videos, but I'm unemployed. To everybody that has reached out to me, asked me if my mental is okay, asked me if I'm good, I really do appreciate you. I seen some comments saying like she's playing the victim. She acts like a victim. I'm not a victim. I don't even want to call myself a victim. I trusted a man with taco meat on his face. That man has a taco meat beard. That is the makings of a shiesty fella. Ladies, if your boyfriend has taco meat on his face, he's going to mess you up. Listen to me. I can speak from experience. And that reminds me, a lot of you were saying, well, I wouldn't listen to such and such, or I wouldn't listen to such and such. Listen, it didn't start off a panel. It was first a conversation. So season 1 was me, Rico, Mojo, Jojo. Y'all, let's take a poll, guys. Do you like Mojo, Jojo? Or do you like taco meat beard man? So I know I mentioned in my story on Instagram that he used to say things like, you're not going to be aesthetically pleasing, or are you working on your weight, Keita? And that this is what I look like when I met him. But who was ugly? Also, taco meat on your face. Now, Rico was the first villain. He came in to not only be a part of the podcast, but like help direct the podcast. So one day we were shooting, and I guess we all found out that Rico didn't appreciate being talked to a certain way, and also just it was bad. It was explosive. Now, Mojo Jojo said in one of his lives that I think that he had hired 100 cast members. There's been so many cast members in and out of his house. That was the guest cast. That wasn't core cast. Core cast stayed the same every freaking day. So we're sitting in his basement and we're all having a conversation about I just don't know what, but Mojo Jojo and Rico get into it back and forth. Rico doesn't like how he's being spoken to, so he says something along the lines of, shut up, I'll beat your ass in your own house. Something like that. I don't know. Allegedly, it's not verbatim. And then Mojo Jojo said, use your words. At that moment, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh. Hit him. Hit him. But he didn't. He acted very professionally. We didn't see Rico again. And I think that's when we saw him, I guess, 1 or 2 straggling shows, but Rico didn't need the money. So we didn't see Rico again. But I think that's when I found out that when you do stand up for yourself, I mean, he didn't have to say, but when you do challenge him, you're going to get fired. It's going to be your last day, bud. And sure, I could have quit at that moment. I could have said, oh, you can't challenge him. If you challenge him, it's going to be a problem. But I did not, because I enjoyed the people that I worked with. I was making good money. And I didn't want to quit my job. Would you quit your job if you found out that your boss was a... You know, what's crazy is along the years, a lot of people have been using words like narcissist and diagnosing everyone around them. But when you actually see a narcissist, do you know what to look for? A lot of you think that I'm bullying our friend Kit Kat, but I'm not. I truly believe she's a female narcissist. And no, I'm not a doctor. But I think when you blindly believe and follow whoever, including myself, you don't do victims justice. People that didn't deserve whatever happened to them. So please think about that, because these men, and there are a lot of men. Oh, there's so many men. It's raining men. So a gentleman reached out and said that he dated Kitty, the, relationship expert. So I'm sure the relationship was healthy and loving and progressive. Well, he said that he was cheating on her, right? Which no woman wants. So I want to be fair and tell all the facts. But the woman just reached out, I guess the girl that he cheated with, and it says Kitty did try to kill him that night. It was because I had butt dialed him. Around that time, he had been messing with both me and her. She found out. Then shit got ugly. That girl used to cyber stalk me. She found out where I lived. She used to go live and talk about me and him over her FB and TikTok. It was a whole shit show. So she's saying she butt dialed him. And because of that, Kitty was on the phone. She heard. They began to fight. Now, that's what you heard in part 3. They began to fight. The car got damaged. Shots went off. She used his own gun to shoot at him. All because of a butt dial. Now, of course, the story is going to get deeper. And I'm invested. Are you?
Quote, I've always been transparent with my supporters, and today is no different. What you're about to hear is an audio recording of an unlawful attempt by Keita Rose to extort $500,000 from me. Let me be clear. Keita Rose has been 100% compensated for 100% of her services. See slides at the end. Everyone has the right to make their own decisions about what they believe, but I want my fans to hear the truth for themselves before jumping to conclusions based on false and damaging accusations. This isn't about drama. This is about integrity and defending my name. Listen for yourself and decide what you believe. Thank you for your continued support. Let's go to the tape.
You keep making promises. So we're going to do the $300,000 NDA. I'm going to sign it today. I'm going to get wired the money today. The agreement will say by 5:30 this will all be done. I will show you proof of me. Stop playing with me. Enough talking. I'm about to take a shower now. And I have to call Daniel.
Hey, can I ask you
Think
one?
about that. And let's have another conversation.
Keita, can I ask
and
you one?
if that conversation doesn't go the way Daniel needs it to go about what me and you agreed, then I'm never speaking to you again because I'm tired of it.
Who is Daniel? I don't know who Daniel is.
I need to create my content so I can work. Some of us don't have all this money that we can go around and make lives and go to basketball games and do all this and ha. Some of us have to just feed our children.
Is that right?
So I'm gonna either work, or we gonna work, or I'ma work. You decide. And I'm not saying I need to wire.
Okay, so that's part 1 of the conversation. Let's listen to part 2.
Mary.
Sign the NDA. Yes.
Mary.
Yes. Go ahead. Yes. Hey, Mary, 5 minutes because you work for me. Because you work for me.
All right.
5 minutes with this one. Go ahead.
All right. Look, maybe just have her call me back at 1. I don't know. We write. You know what I'm saying? We right there. We literally are right here.
So can you
If
this deal don't go through by 5:30, it's no deal. That's what I'm telling you. I'm tired of this. I'm not going to give you 80 days. Sue me in court. Let's go to court. And I'm gonna blog the whole fucking goddamn experience, just like I'm blogging this one. Go ahead. Fly with me.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard an extortion attempt on the part of Keita Rose. Ace Metaphor, this is what he's claiming. He's claiming that Keita Rose has attempted to extort $500,000. We're going to go back to the first part of the tape and we're going to do it all over again so you can hear it directly. This is coming from Ace Metaphor's Facebook page, his personal Facebook page. We're going to listen to part 1 of the tape again.
You keep making promises. So we're going to do the $300,000 NDA. I'm going to sign it today. I'm going to wire the money today. The agreement will say by 5:30 this will all be done. I will show you proof of me. Stop playing with me. Enough talking. I'm about to take a shower now. And I have to call Daniel.
Hey, can I ask you
Think
one?
about that. And let's have another conversation.
Keita, can I ask you
and
one?
if that conversation doesn't go the way Daniel needs it to go about what me and you agreed, then I'm never speaking to you again because I'm tired of it. I need to create my content so I can work. Some of us don't have all this money that we can go around and make lives and go to basketball games and do all this and ha ha ha. Some of us have to just feed our children. So I'm gonna either work, or we gonna work, or I'm gonna work. You decide. And I'm not saying I need to wire.
Okay, that was part one. We're going to listen to part two again.
Mary.
Sign the NDA. Yes.
Mary.
Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
Hey, Mary, 5
Now, I don't know who Mary is. So somebody's Daniel, and now it's Mary. I don't know who Mary is. We're going to listen to this again. Here we go.
Mary.
Sign the NDA. Yes.
Mary.
Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
Hey, Mary, 5 minutes because you work for me. Because you work for me.
All right.
5 minutes with this one.
Go ahead.
All right. Look, maybe just have her call me back at 1. I don't know. We right. You know what I'm saying? We right there. We literally are right here.
So can you
That's-
if
that's-
this deal don't go through by 5:30, it's no deal. That's what I'm telling you. I'm tired of this. I'm not gonna give you 80 days. Sue me in court. Let's go to court. And I'm gonna blog the whole fucking goddamn experience, just like I'm blogging this one. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Play with me.
Okay. Woo! All right, so there apparently there's some more information here. Let's take a look.
I'm gonna get that wire today.
Nope.
Or we have no
we
deal.
solve this by
I waited up
5:30.
until midnight last night. I'm tired. My back hurts. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I need to work, but I'm still fucking around with your bitch ass. Now I said we were friends, but we ain't that goddamn close until we make a motherfucking deal. So make it, nigga, and make the right one.
Let's just make the deal, Ace, and we can move forward, and you can get squared away, and we can get squared away, and everything can be finished.
Wow. This is
Do you think you can solve it by 5?
this is straight up blackmail. This ain't extortion. This is straight up blackmail here, which is a crime, by the way. God, turn. Let's get back to the tape.
5:30.
Mary.
Mhm.
We got a long way to 5:30. I've been working on this all morning. Since
Well,
we all
spend
talk.
more time
Hold on,
convincing
Keita. Let
that
me.
nigga and less time talking to me.
So look,
I
just
gotta
call
work and make
me
videos.
back.
I gotta do my Patreon.
Call me back at 1.
500
Call me back at
members.
1. All right, call me back.
Call me back at 1. Let's listen to some more. Oh, okay. So this is all right. So to the fans of this is a written statement to the fans of Ace Metaphor. Ace Metaphor Productions in tonight's conversation. I am sharing this sensitive information only because of an unlawful attempt by Keita Rose to extort $500,000 from me. In her failed effort to defame my character and secure an unlawful payday, I feel it's necessary to inform my supporters of the truth. As many of you know, I have always prided myself on being an open book. My journey, including the challenges I face, have given me the insight needed to offer meaningful relationship advice. Out of respect for my ex-wife's privacy and in accordance with legal requirements surrounding my expungement, I have never publicly shared these details until now. As I've shared before, my past has shaped me and given me the life experiences I use to offer real relationship advice to so many. Out of respect for my ex-wife's privacy, her requests, and the legal guidelines surrounding my expungement, I refrained from publicly discussing these details. However, due to the false and dramatic claims being made and now the sharing and releasing of my information pertaining to my expunged record, I feel compelled to provide the truth. Here is my story. When I was 20 years old, I married my ex-wife in December of 2009. As many can relate, being young and in love, I guess. It's cropped out, so we can't really see the actual thing here. but I'm gonna try to read it as best I can. As many can relate, being young and in love, presuming it means, can make it difficult to manage emotions, especially in challenging times. Our relationship was unpredictable and often led to arguments. During these disagreements, I have never physically harmed my ex-wife. In 2011, after one such argument, in an effort to de-escalate the argument and in response to certain actions of my ex-wife, I removed my wife from our apartment, was later arrested for doing so. At the time, I didn't understand that moving her from the home was against the law. As a result, I was charged. Despite this, my wife and I continued to see each other off and on as we tried to reconcile. In 2012, I was able to resolve this legal matter. I received a disorderly conduct violation, which was later expunged. Later that year, my ex-wife and I mutually decided to something. I guess they just moved on with their lives. Okay. I am sharing this part of my life not for sympathies, but so you understand that I, like everyone else, have made mistakes. I own and learn from my experiences. I am sharing this because I want to be sure any telling of my private history is accurately displayed. I do not believe or condone anyone having to suffer their history being publicly shared without their consent and without it coming directly from the people directly involved, which has happened here. I did not at any time share this information with Nikita Moon, but I am now required to something in an intimately personal matter that only occurred between myself and my ex-wife and is legally not publicly available because I would not provide money to Nikita Moon in exchange for Nikita Moon not to speak or release this matter. I am now something years old and have had no further issues with the law in the years since. I stand as a man who deeply respects the law and the women in my life. I hope my story demonstrates my growth and the lessons I've learned, allowing me to continue helping others who may be struggling in love. Thank you for your continued trust and support. Sincerely, Ace Metaphor. So that's where we're at with it. Wow. Wow. This is deep. We are reviewing the evidence as best we understand it. This is part one of Ace Metaphor's bedtime addressing of the situation. There is a part two. We will be going through that as well. And we go back to the tape. Before we go back to the tape, let me get my man Chaos. Chaos Rain is in here. Chaos, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
What's good, Obsidian? I would say this, like anything like business, you gotta keep in mind, Ace just got new money, fresh money. He doesn't understand business. He doesn't make the time effort to really study it, to read, or have people that's mentor him to guide him through this process. He's a lone wolf in all this. So when you find that the people that he put on turn him, this should be a telltale sign that in business you're going to take losses. And I think he's going to take no loss yet, but we will see. But let's be honest. When you're doing this type of business, when you only focus on Black people and the ratchetness of this community, you get what you deserve at the end of the day. Now, can you recover from this? It's possible if it's really that serious. But let's be honest. If you're doing this on the fly, no contracts, no agreements, so both parties are clear.
Hang on. I can't let you say that. Because hang on. But according to what he's saying on these tapes, the way that he does it is that the contracts are very short. So they go from tour to tour. So they'll do 10 or 12 tour dates. The contract will last for as long as those tour dates are. So you know, January to June or something like that. And of course, I'm pretty sure he's looking over the books. He's looking over which individuals, he's checking his social media and so on and so forth, and feedback and all that, like any good businessman does. And I do believe that Ace is a good businessman. I've always praised him for that. He'll look and say, okay, this person is really, packing them in. They really like this person not so much, so on and so forth. They don't bring them back. Okay. It sounds like Keita and Randy are upset that he's making business-based decisions.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like. They're making it out like it's something other than that. He's saying it's business. I'm thinking the truth is probably somewhere in between. That's what I'm thinking. That
Okay.
yes, there's some business considerations, but there's some other things that are outside of that as well. So I don't want to put this on Ace that there was no contracts. There was no long, 2-3 year type of deal. It was tour to tour. That's what's going on here. I just want to go back to the tape.
Okay.
Let's listen to the rest of the tape.
All right.
You know, I know that there is a thirst from people to see new talent, to see new perspectives, for the pod to grow in a different direction. You know what I mean? As much as I want to keep the nucleus together or to keep this together or whatever, it's almost, at some point I remember bringing 10 people to a city. You know what I mean? And it's just, you can't. The longer you do these tours, the harder it is to sell tickets, the harder it is to convince a person to come back a second time, a third time, a fourth time. And so I sit here and I say to you all, like, ain't nothing personal for me. It's not personal. You know what I mean? Everything is business. And that's the ugly part about it. Like, when you start something and it starts off as just fun, light, enjoyable, but then to grow it, it's a business.
Yeah.
And it hurts. It hurts
Yeah.
every time. Like, you can't meet a negotiation. It hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it. Like, I wish I could. I can't. It hurts every single time. You know what I mean? It hurts every time when you like, okay, well, I got to move in a different direction because I really want to fit this new person in or this person. It hurts. And I know just like it's difficult for me, it can be difficult for a lot of other people.
Let's stop right there, take a real quick break and come back. You're listening to Obsidian Radio. We'll be back. Okay. All right. So we're back. You're listening to Obsidian Radio. Thank you all for tuning in. We had to take a real quick break there. And we are back on the air. Now, here's the thing. Because a number of people are saying, well, we have to understand where Ace is coming from. I understand where he's coming from. I get it. But the question is, do his own audience get it? It's pretty clear to me that Miss Rose and Miss Rosario don't get it. We are going to go now to part 2 of this discussion. This is part 2 of Ace Metaphor speaking to the allegations that were put on him by Keita Rose and Randy Rosario from his bedroom. Part 2. Here we go.
Before I know I'm asleep. I got my shut out. One last thing that I'm talking about. No other shit on the internet. This matter of fact, everybody take your screen record out. Everybody take your screen record out right now. Take it out. Take the screen record out. Everybody screen record what I'm about to say now, because it's the last time I'm gonna say this shit. Okay? Let me know when y'all got it ready. All right? I'm not talking about anything beef related on the internet. There's proper channels for that. There's proper avenues. And I understand the public interest. But I also want y'all to understand that is not my character. That's not what I do. That's not what we're going to do here. At the end of the day, there are proper channels to handle any beef, any discrepancy, any, issue. There's proper
Obsidian,
channels.
can you pause it?
Yeah. No worries. I'll pause it right there. Go right ahead, Pablo. You got it.
Now, he may be correct in saying that's not his character to do it, but it is the character of the people that you had on your show.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, this is what you get when you deal with street folks. I mean, there's just no other way of putting it. I mean, I know that's something. And Pablo, you and Miss Letitia both of you in your own way have kind of attacked, or not attacked, that's not the right word, approached what I'm about to say, the issue of class in Black America. I'm sorry, Ace. The time for Jack and Jill approaches has passed. You know, Jack and Jill may be where you are now, but what got you here was if you nuck, then you buck. I mean, that's, I hate to say it like that, but Miss Letitia was on to something. I mean, I'm sorry, this isn't the AKA crowd we're talking about here, Ace. This is not the Spelman, Morris Brown, Emory, Clark Atlanta crowd. It's not. This isn't the University of Michigan, Ohio State University, Northwestern, University of Chicago, University of Pennsylvania, Columbia, Dartmouth, Stanford, MIT crowd here. It's not. If you was talking with those type of people, that'll be one thing. Okay. This ain't them. This is the knuck if you buck crowd. So talking about the inner workings of your business and profit and loss and cash flows, and no. They there for the tea. Period, point blank.
And also, Mamiya, code of the street is, I don't care about none of that. Pay me what you owe me, right? So if they're saying he owed money, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, they're not going to want to hear any of that. If you said that you was going to do something, do it just like you did the with the wire clip, right? Your word is all you have in that environment because you really don't have anything else. Yeah. Your word is all you have. We don't have anything to bargain or trade with other than the word. So now here you are, Mr. Big Shot. You got all this money now. They're not going to care about, well, times is hard. All they see is those big crowds. Like you said, he is cutting prices 40%. That means something. But yeah, to a different set of people, we would get that. Oh, understandable. But to that crowd, they're looking at like, all them people there, what do you mean you can't pay these people?
Yeah.
What do you mean there's allegations?
Yeah, that's exactly what they mean. And it's true. I mean, you know, you can't, yeah, I mean, that's the danger when you deal with the code of the street.
Is that you can't pay. You charge $65, you charge $150. You had all them people, we seen all them people in the.
You're going out there, Miss Letitia. Your sound is going out a little bit there. Something's wrong there. But we get the point that you're getting at, and we agree. I'm in full agreement with you. You can't, you know, operate like that and think that it, you know, he kind of painted himself in a corner because these are primarily women. We can say that with authority. It's a primary female audience. These are Black women from the street. And they operate by a code of the street. And now you're trying to switch it up from, I hate to say this, I hate to use this type of language, but you're trying to switch it up from the street side of Stringer Bell, the gangster wild shit, to the business side of Stringer Bell. They're not trying to hear that. Unfortunately. I mean, you know, the whole shirtless thing notwithstanding, I'm with you on this. I get where you're coming from, but I'm not the one you need to convince. Back to the tape.
In order to handle beef, discrepancies are issues. Period. Because you give people like you, which I'm thankful for, a glimpse into a person's life, a glimpse into somebody's character, a glimpse into perspectives, and I share so much with y'all. But there's also a responsibility. I have a responsibility to myself. I have a responsibility to not just the pod, the employees, the contractors. I have a responsibility even just to my integrity. to handle things accordingly. I'm always open and willing to talk about whatever beef anybody has with me in private, in a place where that's supposed to happen. But you and I both know this internet shit, going back on the internet, doing this, that, and the other, that don't really get you nowhere. It doesn't. So my official thing is right now, I love everybody. I ain't got no hate towards nobody. And honestly, the pod I've seen, we've been doing it 4 years now. We've had, like I said, over 60, 70 guests. But it's the side that you got to take with this. If you, like myself, if I'm a person that can benefit from my likeness and benefit from being a public figure, and I can go on live and 550 people can watch, then I have to take when somebody maybe doesn't have the most positive things to say about me, whether I agree or disagree. And what I got to do is get focused, get back on track, and then there's proper ways to handle that. So from this point on, I just wanted to come on and say, that's not what's going to happen here. I'm not going to go back and forth with nobody. I'm not, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But what I want y'all to know is I'm not sitting here asking anybody to blindly support anybody, blindly do this, blindly do that. That's not what I'm asking you to do. And if you're like at a point where, hey, you need to answer me right now, or I don't think I can support you going forward, I understand your choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that. But I also want you to understand my choice of saying that I love everybody. I don't have a problem with nobody. And if it was up to me, I would have liked to have enough bread from the shows to keep everybody. That's it. That's the bottom line. I really don't know how to say that shit. I literally don't know. I'm simply saying to you all.
Okay, all right. So we want to hold up there. Go ahead, Miss Letitia. You want to jump in?
See, I'm not gonna say he's full of it, but that's probably how they're gonna look at it. You're full of it. All of us said it now. Keita's been with you for a long time. She's been.
Oh yeah, she was there. She was there in 2021 when Ace came here to Philly. She was there that day.
Right. So for him saying it's short-term contracts, it's short-term contracts. This woman has been there. You've been extending her contract for a while now. All of a sudden now you want to drop her. Now it's a short-term contract. It's not a contract that's meant to keep everyone there. They're not going to buy that. Secondly, as I said, all of a sudden now you're bringing on this hot shot Dr. Bryant.
People even though Keita never mentioned her. That's what I'm trying to square there. She goes after Kitty Rose. Hello, Kitty. Kitty Rose. She goes after her, but she never said anything. As far as I know, she never said anything about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Okay. So, but Kitty's been there how long?
Kitty's been there. I would say, if I had to put a number on it, I would say that Kitty has been there at least about maybe 2 to 3 years at least.
Right. So these women have been there long term. He keeps talking about short-term contracts. They're not meant to keep people there long, but these people have been there for years. Where the street is, loyalty is everything. Your word and loyalty is everything. So you're letting go of people who've been loyal to you, and it's going to be seen as disloyal, right? He's going to come across as being disloyal to these people.
Correct.
So him saying, I want to address the beef is not going to go over well for him. Right. He's going to have to publicly address every accusation that they're making.
Correct.
I'm going to take this PC, which is odd because this PC R&B style, it's not me, it's just business. It's not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work with his crowd.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And it's funny. You would think these brothers would have learned this from watching The Wire. It's like, do these guys don't? I mean, to be fair, I watch very little TV myself, but what little TV I do watch, I try to make it count. And one of the things I watched quite a bit was The Wire. And you would think that, you know, Derek never presented himself as a hood nigga. I hate to use that word, but fine. He never presented himself that way. But Ace always was a scrappy kind of guy that came up hard scrap. Okay, fair enough. You would think if anybody would understand this, he would.
Well, I told you, most people are not critical thinkers. The reason why you are thinking, because you're constantly always thinking about what something means, what is going on. They're watching it and not even thinking about what's going on and the messages that are being presented. All it is I'm being entertained. So that's why now he's facing, because it seems he didn't even think about all of this other than having contracts, having people sign contracts, letting them know it may be short term, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't really think about the actual nuances of establishing a business. Because had he done so, as you said, he wouldn't be in this predicament.
Now, to be fair to him, because I want to, like I said at the outset, I really don't take any pleasure in any of that. The only reason why I'm covering this is because a lot of brothers, this is how this show works. Brothers send me stuff all the time. They email me the Obsidian Files, Files, all one word, the Obsidian Files @gmail.com. They hit me up on Instagram at Mumia Obsidian Ali. That's where you can find me on the gram. They hit me up on my Facebook fan page, Obsidian Radio Live. Better yet, my personal page, Mumia Ali. They leave comments in my Rumble, channel here. They leave comments. Brothers are contacting me all the time with what's going on. And a lot of brothers have been contacting me over the past 72 hours about this situation. They ask me, what do I think? Brothers want me to weigh in on what Coach Greg Adams said about how the manosphere destroyed itself. We got to talk about that tomorrow. Brothers, this is how the show works. I talk about what the brothers want to talk about. That's how it works. It's not about what I want to talk about. It's what the brothers want to talk about. That's how this show works. You hit me up. I look into it. You give me the links. I look into it. I may ask you some qualifying questions. I take it from there. Sometimes I'll burn off Miss Letitia's ear. I'm like, poor Miss Letitia. She always, one of these days, she'll be like, you do realize I got a life, right? I'm burning her ear off. I'm asking other people what do they think about it. Because when I get on the air, I want to try to be as informative as I can.
Can I ask an important question?
Go ahead.
Now, in regards to informative information, do you need like multiple links for you to search for, see is any correlation?
Preferably.
Because usually I send some things to
you. You got a real bad feedback back there, Chaos. You're going to do something with the feedback.
Is my feedback better now?
Yeah. You got a real bad feedback.
All right, let me jump off and I'm going to jump back and see.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyway, that's how this show works. It's about what you brothers want to talk about. And you guys get to set the tone. You hit me up, big stories breaking, and you want to hear my take on it. That's how we do it here. And today's show, I didn't want to do. Because again, though we disagree, we were never disagreeable. It was unlike Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson's just a jerk. He is. He's just a fucking asshole. And it finally caught up with him. Couldn't happen to a better guy. But Ace, I've never perceived as a jerk. He's always been cordial to me. We've always been cordial together, friendly, never had an issue with him. And so I really didn't want to do today's show. I was like, man, I really don't want to do this, but a lot of brothers want to hear what I got to think about it. It is a breaking story. Many brothers want my take on it. So be it.
Obsidian.
Yeah.
let me relieve you of your guilt. Allow me. Hey, listen. I kind of like Ace too. Very personable, reasonable to talk to. You're absolutely right. But brother, you got a show to do too. Just like he have his audience, and they want the R&B shirt off, in the bed explanation. You have your audience, and they want an analytical, sanitary, very thought out response on these issues. And you got to give the people what they want too. You have an audience too. You got a light bill and a power and a water bill.
Lord knows I got a power bill. Matter of fact, brothers, hit that Rumble, hit that Cash App, because that electric, my God, that gas, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, you got to keep that place heated up there in Philly.
Yeah, man, it's cold as hell. There's the light bill and the gas bill high in the motherfucker. Hit that Rumble Rant, hit that Cash App, please. Yeah, go ahead, Rumble, go right ahead.
I mean, he said it's about business. Ace, if you're listening, brother, it's just business. We got to do what we got to do.
Yeah. Let me bring up Chaos. He wants to get back in here. Go ahead, Chaos. You on the air?
All right. My sound better now?
Yeah, you sound wonderful. Go right ahead.
Okay. I was saying before, Obsidian, that the information that I share sometimes with you, and I just want clarity that when you look at any source of information to talk about or for future shows, you want at least a couple multiple. Does that require like 2 or 3 or more, if possible, if people could find multiple?
Well, in a situation like this, I'll tell you exactly what happened in this situation. One link isn't going to do it because there's so many different angles and people involved. There's the sheer amount of people involved. So right now, the main people, Ace, Trip, Keita, Randy, that's at least 4 people. Then we got people who are involved on the periphery. So Paradise Paris, Sansaray, Monique. So that's 2 more people. That's 6. Then, anybody else that might have something to do with it. So right now, I got at least 6 sources I got to go through. At least 6, and I got to sit down. But that's the reason why a lot of brothers want me to be on the air every day, and I try to. But there are times when you don't hear me on the air. Sometimes it's because the bones be talking to a brother. Sometimes it's a personal reason. But oftentimes the reason why you don't hear me on the air is because I'm doing the research. Listen, it's just me. I don't have any fact checkers. In other words, people that I pay. I don't have a staff. It's me doing all of the fact checking and making sure everything is right before I go on the air. I don't like just going on the air and just riffing, shooting from the hip. I want to try to get as much factual from the horse's mouth information as I can. Black men deserve that. But as Pablo said, that do cost. Butchie said it best to Omar in The Wire. Conscience do cost. If you want accurate information, if you want information as accurate as possible, directly from the principles, you want a show that's going to try to stick as much as possible to the facts, that's going to cost. And that's the reason why we have this show that is funded by the brothers. It really is a Rorschach test. It really is a kind of acid test. Do black men really want their own media? And what are they willing to do to get it? And I have been very blessed and fortunate thus far. We've come this far by faith, as my Christian brothers would say. 10 years, still in the game. And I'll never forget what Kevin told me. He said that you're going to be the last man standing when this is all over. When it's all said and done, you're going to be the last man standing. What prescient words? What prescient word? I had no idea. Anyway, let's get back to the tape.
Forget that this shit is a business. So now it's like, why this, why that, why this, why that? It's literally just math sometimes. And I'm one of those people that like I'm not really moved like by personal shit. Like I don't be making personal decisions like that about shit. Like if people do a job well or do this well, that's all that really matters to me. Or you know what I mean, if it makes sense. But it get to a point where that becomes more of a motivating factor in trying to make sure that the business side of it's right. Now I know it's like, okay, why is this? Why is that? Like we're not. It is not a group of people sitting in a room no more just doing it because they like it. People got families, people got houses, people got cars, people got jobs, people got things they need to take care of. And it's that. So when I'm gonna say this, right? Even on core numbers like that, right? Core numbers like that, you can sit there and you can talk to people. Like for example, right now, if I'm talking to you all right now about why decisions are made with staffing or casting or this or that, right? Knowing that tonight's conversation, we don't have sponsors. Everything that y'all see, you know, I'm paying for.
It's pretty much coming. So he's saying it's similar to the Black Manosphere Conclave. You know, we don't have to date. We don't have any sponsors. That may change going forward, but so far, past 4 years, no sponsors. It's coming directly out of pocket. The first two conclaves we ever did, Theo Waff, we affectionately call him the Bank of Theo. He went all in and didn't say a mumbling word. That brother is a saint. It's like Saint Kevin, you got Saint Theo too. That brother is a saint. He never talks about it, but I'll say it. The first conclave, he went in for damn near 6 figures. Did it again the following year. We were at the Pyramid Club and the Sonesta Hotel down on Rittenhouse Square. Didn't bat an eye. And the first conclave, we didn't even charge anybody. It was free to come. Free. Because we understood, me, Theo, we understood, you know, Shannon came in the next year, 2022. We understood this. Listen, you didn't blow man on the totem pole. You got to put your work in. We understand that. We get that. So that's why we didn't put it out there. You got to do this. We got to build it up. So again, I understand where Ace is coming from. But again, I'm not the one he needs to convince. It's those street chicks you need to convince, Ace. Your audience are street chicks. And all they know is you laying up there in that big old bed. You got all these people coming, like Miss Letitia said, they got all these people coming out. You got all this and you got all that. And you now talking about how you can't do this and can't do that with business. No. What a web we weave. Back to the tape.
What I'm explaining to you all is the reason why it's tough to have these conversations on the internet is because I can explain that to you. But what do you want to hear about? Some tea. Right? So this will always be a losing battle for somebody. It just really would be. You know what I mean? It really would be. And so that is the part that I'm addressing today. Like, to summate, ain't got nothing to do with, from my side, it ain't got nothing to do with nothing else but
Mia, stop real quick.
short.
Yeah, no problem. Go right ahead, Miss Letitia.
I don't know if anybody is looking at the messages that are scrolling, but yeah, they're not buying this.
What did you see in particular? If you can
recall, they're talking about his single status, him not being married, he playing in their face. Let's see. Yeah, stuff like that. Those are the messages I'm seeing. I can't really see what the tonight's conversation, but I've seen a couple messages. I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be ugly. This is going to get ooh.
Yeah. And that goes back to your point, Miss Letitia, that his crowd ain't trying to hear nothing about that. His crowd ain't here for that. His crowd is, this is his crowd. You know what's fascinating to me? What's fascinating to me is how little they being Ace, how little he has done market research on the psychology of his customers. Like with the Black Manosphere Conclave, we know who our customers are. How do we know? Because we do exit surveys every year.
I want my money.
I told you.
Where is my money?
Betty, bring me everyone.
I need my money. I need my money.
What do you mean everyone?
Every year at the end of a conclave, we do an exit survey and we ask a series of questions and then we open it up. Anything the brothers want to add, anything that they want to say, what we can do better, what we need to do more of, less of, the whole bit. And we tailor the conclave in the coming year based on those exit surveys. That's what we do. I can't believe that Ace is not doing the same. I can't believe he does not have any customer market data about his audience. If you want to talk about buying behavior, that's all psychology. As a matter of fact, major businesses have psychologists on staff to figure out how to sell to their market. Am I wrong about that, Ms. Letitia? Hello. Something's wrong with your button there or mic or something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's having trouble with. There you go. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was off mute. Okay. No, you're absolutely correct. This is the difference between someone who actually understands business and they create a business versus someone creating something off their likeness or their personality and it does well and they decide to make it a business. He should have, if you're going to make this a business, once you decide to make this a business, he should have got someone who understands business, a professional, someone who actually does this. He had the money to do it, but he should have got someone who understands business, someone who is a critical thinker, a problem solver, someone who is not going to be afraid of conflict when it arises, where he could have taken a step back and said, my business partner, my business manager handles all of these things. Let him be the bad guy. Because the business person can easily say it's just business. That's it. But no, you took all of this on yourself, and he bit off more than he can chew on.
You know what? That's exactly what we do with the conclave. Our brother Shannon's like, hey, listen, man. If anybody got any problems with the way we do things, tell them to come talk to me. Because I got to make sure all the numbers got to make sense. It's that simple. I'm basically the front man. Let's just get this right to it with the conclave. It's me, the three Mouseketeers. It's me, Shannon, and Theo. I'm the front man. I'm the main recruiter. I'm the guy that you see out here, out in these streets. Theo is the guy that handles all the STEM. Shannon is the guy that handles all the operations. He handles the numbers. He handles all the operations, the logistics. He's a former Army guy. Hooah. So he knows how to move large amounts of people, material here, there, everywhere. And he says all the time, hey, listen, these guys, got a problem with the way we do things. Tell them to come talk to me. And that's exactly what he tells them. This is nothing personal, it's business. So I know for a fact that what you're saying is true, Mr. Tisha, because that's how we do it. It's like, hey, it is what it is. You can talk to Shannon. If he loves it, I love it. If he likes it, I love it. Never hear back from the guy again. Guy kind of go down a black hole. So one thing I've learned about my experience in working with with Shannon and Theo for the past few years. Very humbling. I learned very quickly what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at. And to be okay in trusting other Black men who are better than me at certain things and handling that. Shannon is excellent when it comes to what you're talking about, Miss Letitia. He's excellent at it. And so any brother that's got any questions for me in that regard, I'm quick to refer them to Shannon. You talk to him and, you know, that's it.
But Obsidian,
yeah.
But you see, when you're even the process of the conclave and even the early stage of 2020 to now, right? Let's be honest. You didn't do it by yourself. You already understand because you by yourself by business for a few years before the first 5 years, and then you network with other men, and you already come to the grounds and saying, I cannot handle everything myself. You already knew this years ago, right? So you have people that you know that are good at what they do, and you just make a compromise, and you guys go from there. See, can you look at what's the name? Ace. Does this man look like he's a person that's well organized and say, I'm gonna have certain people not like myself, but people that I could trust and say, I can't handle everything. You're good at this, you do this, I refer to this, that. Does Ace seem like that type of man that you come across?
Well, this is what I will say with Ace. He has a tremendous business mind. And for him to be able to accomplish what he does is nothing short of extraordinary, in my opinion. He does have an innate. I don't think he's ever been to business school. To be fair, neither have I. But as far as I know, neither has Shannon. Shannon has a lot of boots on the ground experience. But it seems to me that Ace has a kind of innate business mind. That being said, there's clear, holes or chinks in the armor, so to speak. So there's that. Let me thank my man Pablo, who comes through with a $20 Rumble Rant. He writes, it's strictly business. The manosphere wants what they want. Yeah. That's why this show exists. It's not about what I want to talk about. It's what you all want to talk about. You know how to hit me up on my socials, my email. You know how to reach me, any links, anything like that you want me to talk about. I'll get right on it. It might take me a day or two to put together a show, but that's what it's all about here. I'm here to talk about what the brothers want to talk about. That's how we do here. Go ahead, Miss Letitia.
So, Shannon's been an entrepreneur. He's been in business for years.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, over a decade.
That's true.
Ace fell into it. Remember, Ace is just a podcaster for a while. He was on Facebook and then IG and YouTube and stuff, and he was just giving advice, and then he was able to monetize that. He's creative in the sense that he does understand how he presents himself and what his market wants to hear. But I think what Chaos is getting at is the business side. There's a difference when you're being creative and you can think of things that people would want to see or people would want to hear. That's the marketing aspect of it. But there's the actual business side where the money, right? How all of the functioning of all of this, how all this is going to line up. There's a huge difference. I just know that there are some people who wanted to work with me, and I couldn't work with them because the way that they did business just made me feel uncomfortable. And I know this because I worked with someone previously who even has an MBA, right? So the way that he thought of things, the way he looked at things was completely different than some other people that wanted to work with me, because they were focused on, oh, you just got to look the part, you got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, but that's short term. That gets me a certain audience that I probably don't want to deal with, right? But how can I turn my message into being profitable? That's the goal here. The goal was, how does he turn his message into being profitable? But was he just focused on making money, or was he focused on the message as well? So he again, he bit off way more than he could chew, because as he may understand people, his people, and what they want in his audience to an extent, but the business side just got away from him because it doesn't seem like it was handled properly, because people have NDAs, and then they're talking out and they have NDAs, and some people don't have NDAs. That's confusing, right?
Yeah.
People have NDAs and they're talking. Like, why isn't your lawyer shutting this down? She got an NDA. I remember I had a young lady who went on Clubhouse who was on my database, matched her with a client. She called herself going on Clubhouse to have a conversation with people about that. I had my lawyer send her a cease and desist letter
Right.
immediately.
Yeah.
She was upset about it. She couldn't talk. Next thing you know, she said, I can't talk about it. You can't mention me. You can't mention my business. You can't mention my client. Or else, I don't care if you don't have any money, I'm taking you to court. So his lawyer should be shutting these conversations down if you have an NDA. But then again, you got somebody who's saying, I didn't sign an NDA and I'm going to let it all out. So that's the business didn't make any sense, because it was like it was all just hodgepodge, just put together. Let's see what sticks. That's what feels like.
I'm gonna hit on that point, but I want to finish this out because there's only like maybe a few more minutes. So I want to give a chance to Ace to finish, and then we'll go swing back around to the point that you just made, Miss Letitia. So let's let Ace finish this out.
Tour by tour, you know what I mean? And as an artist, you know, that I used to be, you know, before I started, you know, doing my own thing, man, that just gives an artist so much flexibility, right? If you hear and you like this, I don't really vibe with this type of show or this type of this, you ain't committed for 2 years. It's, you know, if we agree to do this many shows, we agree to do this many shows, and then afterwards you can make a decision whether you want to come back or not. Or afterwards I can make a decision. You know what I'm saying? If we both vibing, we can re-up. If we can agree on a number, move forward. It's literally that simple. It's like every other job in America. That's literally it. That's why you got to leave all the other things up to the professionals that handle stuff like that. Up to the people that can handle it properly. Because I'm going to tell you this, and this is, again, another thing I'm going to say with my chest.
Not sure he should have said it that way, but interesting choice of words.
If I have a beef, the last person I'm telling is the internet. The last person. You know what I mean? It's the last person I'm telling. And I'm going to be convicted on that shit. Like, in the 7 years, no, it's been almost 10 years now that I've been doing content on the internet. I ain't never sat here and talked about beef. Never. You know what I mean? Never.
Okay, so that is Ace Metaphor speaking directly to the charges that have been levied against him by Keita Rose and Randy Rosario. Trip Fontaine announced his departure from the show. He left on amicable terms. There was no rancor. He has demurred from speaking about anything in particular. He's kept silent. So that's where we are. We're going to open up for open forum discussion. The link is in the chat room if anybody wants to jump in on this. Let me swing back around to a point that you made, Ms. Letitia, about doing things in a business manner, NDAs, things of that nature. I will disclose this about the conclave. There are moves afoot along those lines. I won't go into the details, but there's what is known as a gentleman's agreement. Are you familiar with that is?
Yes.
Okay. So we have operated in that way for some time. And that can work if you're operating with gentlemen. Then it can work. There's a reason why they call it a gentleman's agreement. Do you see what I'm saying here, Miss Letitia? There's a reason why they say it that way. This is going to sound bad. There's no such thing on the female side. Men are expected to uphold their end of the word no matter what. That was the whole point of that clip from The Wire with Brother Mouzone and Avon Barksdale. That was the whole point. Even among brigands and thieves, there is honor among them. Even among gangsters. There is no such thing with the ladies. I'm trying to be as diplomatic about this as possible. Ladies of the type that are at the center of this, when have they ever adhered to a gentleman's agreement? When have they ever? When? I mean, trying to be diplomatic about this. In the era in which we live, and I'll just say this, I'll just put that, maybe Pablo can jump in on this point. In the era in which we live, it is not wise to go too far into the inner workings of your business with, I'm just going to go ahead and say this, with street black women. I hate to say it that way, but yeah. Because the minute things don't go their way, they're going to go and air you out. Mr. Tisha, if you're trying to get on the air, your mic is open, but I can't hear your voice.
It's not just street.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not just street black. That's women in general. You are absolutely correct when you said there is no code with women. There's no such thing as we honor your word. Because the minute a woman doesn't honor her word, other women will be like, well, you shouldn't have took her word. Why did you take her word? Like, why didn't you have all your ducks in a row? So there is no such thing. You don't have a ladies' agreement. There's no such thing. You have to have it verifiable. So you either have a picture of it, you have a recording of it, you have a signature somewhere, there's a contract somewhere. That's how women work. And that's across the board.
Yeah. Now, so now we're going to have a conversation here. So what have we learned from all this? Because to me, that's really where I'm at with it. What have we learned here? Well, the first lesson for me is you have to know who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with, in this case, street black women, both in terms of in front of the camera and in terms of out in the audience, then you have to move accordingly. This is how street black women move. You have to plan ahead. I mean, where is a street black woman with no drama? Where do they do that at? Where do they do that? As a matter of fact, Ace's money derives from black women. So the minute something goes down that they don't like, then what? So to me, the very first lesson here is don't deal with, if you can, try to keep the women and the money, the women and the money separated, if you can. That's what we do with the conclave. We try to keep the two separate. as much separation as possible. We found that the more separation you keep between the two, the better off things tend to be. That's the first lesson. If the brothers want to jump in, Miss Letitia dropped out for a second. She'll come back in. By the way, the link to the join the show is in the chat room. If anybody wants to join in, come on up. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, there should be agreement amongst peers, but men, unfortunately, there are very few men that will abide by their word. And normally with men, we know how we deal with other men. There is some form of consequence at the end of the day. I think with women in pertain, there's not really much a consequence when they have to go by an arrangement or agree on either a deal or hold their end of the bargain. Personally, that's why you see women when things go south. Other women tell you, say, well, you shouldn't trust her. I know you shouldn't trust her, but wait. You were there and you see I made the arrangement and I take her word, and all you could tell me is I shouldn't trust her. Because I think other women, in my opinion, I've seen, are afraid of the women. When women let you know that they're going to inflict consequence, it could mean the death. You see the videos of these ratchet videos when women are engaged in combat. If you don't stop it, one of them's going to take their life. Like, literally. When it gets to that far. And I think a lot of women are afraid of this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
Yeah. Now I want to get Roynell. Roynell, go right ahead, brother. You on the air. Obsidian Radio. Go right ahead. Roynell, you on the air.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, yeah. I think women are women bring chaos in general. And the two girls he was dealing with are agents of chaos. And that's what he got from them. When things are not going well, they bring chaos to his whole venture. And he has to handle that as a man. He's trying to handle it as best he can, but he has two women that are bringing him chaos, causing trouble for their own pleasure, for their own excitement. Yeah. And it's something that when you're dealing with people like that, you have to really, really, really plan out what you're thinking, because they are not planning. They are just reacting.
Yeah.
So, I think he'll get through this, but it's going to cause him a little bit of pain because I don't think he thought out the whole situation before it happened.
What? Excuse me. Let me ask this. Could he have kissed off Keita and Randy better? Could he have said, okay, look, things aren't going as well as they used to. I'm going to have to let some people go. Give them a real nice severance pack. I don't know. Pay them off 100 large or whatever. Just bite the bullet, pay them off 100 large. Would that have worked? Anyone, would that have worked? Would he have been able to do that? Would he have been able to, just say, oh, you know what, it ain't working out, let me just pay this and keep it moving? Would that have created a different outcome?
So you said pay the chick, in other words. So just keep quiet.
Right. Yeah.
I think what Ace is doing, could they see that that could work? A lot of men would just pay the woman and then keep them silent. But we all know from seeing, for example, from Diddy or anybody else that pay off, that if you deal with a black woman, 9/10 time, if you pay them once, they always gonna come back and say, you gotta pay me again, or else I'm gonna open, because now it's gonna be a residual income for them just to keep their silence. That's what I think what Ace didn't want to pay her off. That's what I'm thinking. That's just me. Anybody else got any, if they agree to disagree?
Yeah, could Ace have handled this differently? Could he have just basically said, listen, things isn't working out, but y'all been really good to me. I just can't afford it anymore, but I'm gonna, set you up, essentially pay them a nice severance package. Could he have done that? Could that have worked?
I think he could have, and he might have tried to do that, but it wasn't successful. Because the people that you're dealing with, like you said, the gentleman's agreement, they have to be on a higher level that they're going to agree with you. Because you can talk like that and tell somebody, okay, this is what we're going to do. But they have to be, as you said, at a higher standard or a gentleman to agree with the situation.
Miss Letitia, you want to say something? Go right ahead. I think she's still having a problem with her microphone. Pablo, are you there? Pablo's probably busy at the moment. I think that, and we, based on what we're seeing right here with Ace, my guess is that we're not likely to know this. We'll see. But my guess is I don't know if the ladies would have went along with it. Miss Letitia, you're something wrong with your mic or the mic button. You're off the mic. I hear you. Your mic is on, but I can't hear your voice. So I don't know what's going on there. But in any event, I think that if he tried it, it probably wouldn't have went well. Can't hear. Okay, can't hear.
Miss Letitia, try jump back and jump back in. Because if you use your phone, it'll come back on just like that. Just jump complete off the studio and come back in.
You hear me?
Yeah, now it's working.
Go ahead. Yeah, she's having trouble with the mic. Yeah, I'm wondering if he'd gave her a really nice severance. Keita, it sounds like, well, both of them, Keita and Randy, because they've been with them for years. Okay, look, what if he just bit the bullet? Just say, you know what, screw it. Let me just, keep it, just pay him off and be done with it. And boom. Could he have? Would this been a different outcome? Break her off, 100 large a piece, boom, and that'd be that.
Obsidian, it has come to my knowledge. Remember the layout what do you call lawsuit from Ferrari and mentioned about Joy Taylor?
Yeah.
And how her plot was she's gonna use a Me Too. I'm not sure Peter Rose would do the same thing, but let's say these women are
going it comes really close. I mean, she didn't say Me Too, Keita Rose. She did not use those words, but she coming pretty damn close. She's essentially saying that, Ace Metaphor is damn near only this side short of a predator. That's the implication. Go ahead, Miss Letitia.
So I don't think they would have taken a payout because he is saying that it's just business and I gotta let you guys go. The show's not doing so well, but I'm pretty sure he's paying Dr. Bryant more than he paid them. I'm pretty sure of it. My speaking fee is pretty high, right? So I know hers is higher than mine. So that's not gonna fly. That this is an excuse, it's a rationalization of you're saying business is not doing good. You can't afford us, but you're keeping a woman who hasn't been here to help you build this. I don't think a payout would have worked. I think they're out for blood. And that's it. The only thing that's going to work is if they get some type of revenge, a public apology, and he has to acknowledge the accusations and apologize for the accusations that they're laying out. That's the only thing that would work.
Interesting.
See, she agrees with me. Miss Letitia agrees with me that paying up will not solve the problem. Matter of fact, they're gonna think it's gonna be a residual income because they need some income all the time to help build this, and that's where the danger arrives. Obsidian, you get me? So Ace has some big decision to make. You get me? If he is paying Dr. Bryant and she's the one that's putting seats to what he's doing, I mean, it is an executive decision, but do you have the costs to take the loss? Should be the biggest question you should ask yourself right now if you're making that much money. Because in business, like Dame Dash said, bosses do take loss. Can you be as a man that's like he said he's been doing since 2015 to present? Is the cost of doing this business really worth it? Can you really handle the loss? And can you recoup? These are big decisions he has to make, and he has to make them very fast because, like Letitia said, like I said, It's a possibility she could take the Joy Taylor route on Ace, and that could be problematic if she chooses to. I'm not holding against that. Kid Rose won't do, but with a lot of black women moving today, as it is, if they have not benefit, they're gonna destroy you, and they're gonna find any means necessary to destroy you.
Interesting. So you mentioned the timeline, Miss Letitia. In your view, how long does Ace have to turn this around? Is it something that he's got to lock down with the quickness? You know, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 72 hours. You know, how long does he have effectively to like get over this and move on, or what? How do you see it? Are you there? Hello. Because I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking that he is kind of like against the clock here. He's got an ongoing tour. He's essentially down 3 major panelists. So he's got Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, he's got Kitty Rose, he's got Stefan Bassier, he's got Trill AC. So he's still got a full clip, but you know, where does it go? Yeah, go ahead, Miss Letitia. You go ahead.
Oh, I forgot about those other big names. You think Stefan?
Miss Letitia, you're gonna have to take some of that speaking engagement money and figure out a way to get that mic working out.
Oh my gosh, it's my computer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's StreamYard with my laptop. It's interfering. It's like the site is not working well with my.
Well, maybe you need to just leave the mic open or something. Go ahead.
But I did not real.
Now she okay. So she just she's gonna have to do something there with that. And listen, it happens to the best of us. I've been there too with the mic problems. So you know, it's not taking a shot or anything like that. I've been there, and that's one of the things about live radio, man. See, when you're doing a podcast and things mess up, you can just hit the record button over, just start over when you fix everything. But when you're on live, everybody knows you screwed up. So that it's all good. But I think Chaos, you make a good point that Ace may not have a whole lot of time to kind of get out in front of this. But he's got a pretty deep bench. I mean, there's a lot of people out there want to get on. I mean, he could. I don't think that this is going to sink him, unless he's got some serious skeletons in the plot, and I'm hoping and praying that's not true. I'm hoping and praying that that's not true. I'm willing to give the brother a pass on the dalliances piece, only because he ain't a married man and he ain't presenting himself as one like Derek did. That being said, with Miss Letitia, if you can come on back. That being said, I understand where Miss Letitia's coming from. His audience is expecting him to be basically a Boy Scout, which I think is delusional with a capital D. It's like going to Magic City and expecting the women there to be Catholic schoolgirls. I mean, come on. Really? What man expects that? So, that being said, can he bounce back? Yeah. How quickly? I would say yesterday. He needs to do this yesterday. He still does have a full clip. He can still roll with that. So he can finish the tour with what he's got on hand. Moving forward, he can go ahead and get brand new talent. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But to me, the single biggest lesson coming out of this is You can't have women mixed up in this stuff, man. You can't. Far too many black men rely on non-black people or black women to be successful. We got to start relying on ourselves to be successful, man. That's just the bottom line. We got to start relying on us. Black men have got to learn how to trust each other, do business with each other, be friends to each other, be brothers to each other. That, to me, that's the big lesson. Or otherwise, this thing will never end. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead, Chaos. Real quick.
This is very important. In regards to Ace, and I look as a man that he might have something possibly for this woman to make that move the way they do, because listen, women collect data just like anybody else, and they're very calculated when it's time to pull the plug. I think with Ace, he might have to start, if he's not understanding contract law, he might start educating himself now after going through this. You can't be in this business just making money for years on years, especially if you're making big money for the last 5 years, and you have not really educated yourself enough to understand business side of things. I mean, we understand that we should have a circle of people to eliminate the problems, but then it is our sole responsibility to educate ourselves enough, because something like this is going to possibly happen again. You might have to structure your contract a way where if they try to pull this trick, there's going to be penalties, in my opinion. And that's where you had to go, to court and all stuff. He might start looking at this now, because to make as much money as you said, I'm saying, and he's very successful doing this should not hurt you where it could probably destroy you completely, especially your fan base is only black women, especially. That's unacceptable in my opinion. Anything you built, if it goes down, you should be able to pick a piece and start from scratch and start like it's nothing again. If you're not at that point doing anything you can as a business person, you have some soul searching. You got to really look at your business model and say, is this really effective enough that if anything happens, I could drop it and start right like it's nothing. If it didn't get to that point, you need to start really think long, hard, moving forward, if this is the direction you take it. That is all. And like I said, we got to be continued on this one, because this something has to be watched very closely.
Yeah, I agree. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for that. Tomorrow.
Chaos.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
Chaos.
let that chaos reign with
Chaos.
Let that chaos reign with
Chaos.
Let that chaos reign with
Must reign.